Do you think that Donald Trump is going to be the nominee for... Okay, so let me... So I got a question for you. Do you think that Donald Trump is going to be the nominee for the Republican Party in 2024? It's looking like he's going to run. He's gearing up, like he's been gearing up his base and, his operations anyway. Has still been collecting money. But the question is, do you think he's actually going to win the Republican nomination? Do you think anybody's going to stand up against him? Even a couple of months ago, I didn't think he was actually going to run. Based on what I'm seeing today, I think he's going to run. I think he's going to run, and I think he's expecting the party to just get behind him automatically. That's what I think. But the big question is, regardless of what he expects, is that what he's actually going to get? Is he going to get the party standing completely behind him again, like they did in 2020? Because remember, in 2020, they didn't even allow any challengers. The RNC combined with his campaign, which in itself, like, as much as people talked about the DNC doing stuff to rig against Bernie, that was crazy. Because I'm not saying that anybody could have successfully challenged him, but to just completely forestall it and stop it before anybody even had a chance to, that was some bogus nonsense. But the question is, with everything that's coming out now, because that's what some people think that the January 6 hearings are about criminal charges. They may be, and so I'm saying in the event that he actually is the nominee, I think they're bolstering up they're putting, like, bullets, ammunition in to take him out if they need to. But I think what they're really trying to do is forestall him even becoming the nominee. Like, that's what I think this whole January 6th committee hearing is. Like, it has an actual purpose. And so people can say, oh, it's just partisan. It's kind of personal. It's not partisan, it's personal. Which is why they wanted Republicans on the committee. They wanted other Republicans on the committee because what they wanted to do was create a clear delineation between Trump and the party. But most of the Republicans were like, oh no, we back Trump. And so they're like, okay, we're about to come for him. And what they're doing, the case that they're putting together right now, is really making him look absolutely horrible. And so what they really wanted to do, they wanted to make sure, like, they wanted to create the delineation, they wanted to create separation between him and the party. It was personal, because they have a very personal dislike for Trump. And it's not because of policies. Because if you take a look, there's so many similarities in policies between him and not just other Republicans, but other Democrats, that there's so many similarities for. The point is, Trump is lazy. Trump has always been lazy. And so what the problem was that Trump wasn't willing to put in the work that's needed, not to get policies done, but to keep up certain appearances. That was Trump's sin. Trump's sin was not keeping up appearances. He made it obvious a whole bunch of the nonsense that government does. And that's a problem, because if government just lets us see, how the sausage is made, then people will lose faith in government. Those people that actually have faith in government, some of us know better, but people will lose faith in government, and then they'll stop being as compliant. See, part of the reason why people are so compliant with government is because they believe certain things about government. Trump just he was too lazy to keep up pretenses, and they're like, okay, you gotta go because you're making stuff obvious now. You're making stuff obvious, you're pulling the veil off, and you're not doing it because you're like any, character, strength in your character. You're just doing it because you're lazy. You don't want to do the work that's required to keep up appearances and to make it seem like there's certain fairness and certain processes in place. That's why he's a problem for That's why he's a problem for the establishment, because he's not willing to do the work to keep up appearances. So they had to get rid of him. And that's why they don't want him back. And it's not just that. So even though they didn't want him back, but what he did on January 6th, because he showed how completely selfish he was, like he was really willing to, and he kept amping up and inflaming distrust in government because it didn't go in his favor. So he wanted people to say, oh yeah, we don't trust government, government can't be trusted. And if people believe what Trump said, if people actually believed, then why would they listen to government in anything government says or does? They wouldn't. But the fact is that, like, that's what he wanted to do, but he didn't want to do it because he's some champion for the people against government. He just wanted to do it because he's a sore loser. He's a sore loser, and he was like, okay, I will burn this whole, if I can't have it, nobody will. That's what he was willing to do. And so it's very personal why they're coming for him and why they're completely going to just destroy and demolish his image. I say this because people are going to say, well, Democrats always hated him. What just happened this past week is big. So you already have, over the past week, right-wing media is turning on Trump. I'm going to say it again. Within the past week, we've seen right-wing media turn on Trump. Now, they're still right-wing, and they're probably going to back somebody like a DeSantis, but they have turned on Trump. New York Post editorial board, not just some random, op-ed opinion, op-ed submission. The editorial board, the New York Post editorial board, has said Donald Trump is unfit to serve as the chief executive. Wall Street Journal did something similar. The right-wing media has turned on Donald Trump. And so we're at a place where it looks like it's curtains for him. It looks like it's curtains for him because people are bailing out, people are jumping ship because they don't want to be associated with this nonsense. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We're at a point where now right-wing media has turned on Trump. And I'm like, okay, yeah, do this. The January 6th committee did the job they sent out to do. Well, part of it, because now the support for him is disappearing. Support for him, people within the Republican Party, people within the right-wing apparatus are turning on him, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to isolate him and alienate him, and they've started. Their purpose is being served. They're putting out a tremendous case, and quite frankly, it's on him. Like, he was a scumbag. He did some scumbag stuff where he sat back for hours, and what they're talking about is the 3 hours that he just sat there, watched everything happen, and he's tweeting, oh, this is because Pence didn't want to do what he needed to do. And it's like, okay, so the country's about to in flames, basically. It's not really a whole country, but they're saying the country's in flames and you're just worried about yourself. You're sitting there watching TV. And so he proved that nothing is more important than himself. Of course, anybody that watched Trump forever would know that's who he is. Absolutely self-interested, absolutely self-absorbed, and it's always about him. Him above anything else, him above anybody else. That's his agenda. Donald Trump's agenda isn't America first. Donald Trump's agenda is Donald Trump first. And that's why he doesn't say, oh, you have to be loyal to the Constitution, you have to be loyal to the certain principles, to America. He's saying you have to be loyal to me. That's his metric for what's a rhino and not. Anybody that's not loyal to him is a rhino. And there's a bunch of people who don't know what conservatism is, who don't know what constitutionalism is, who support Donald Trump, and they call anybody who doesn't support Donald Trump a rhino because they don't know, the Republican is just a party. Conservatism is an ideology. Trump is not, nor has he ever been, a conservative. It just is what it is. Like I said, Donald Trump's agenda is Donald Trump first, not America first. Donald Trump first. That's the way he's lived his life. And there's a bunch of people who look at your loyalty to Donald Trump as the metric for whether or not you're a true Republican or a true conservative. And quite frankly, those people don't know what conservatism means. But as always, let me know what you think. Let me know, do you think that he's actually going to run? Do you think this is just a fluke? You know, that people feel this way today. Give it a month. Give it, you know, a couple of weeks. Everything will blow over, and people will be back, and these institutions will be back supporting Donald Trump. If that's what you feel, go ahead and let me know. Put that in the comment section, and I'll see you on next time. Have a good one.